Hey guys, before we get started today, I do have an exciting announcement, which is that I now do paid Amius clears. For at least like a year, you guys have been asking me, can I please just pay you to do this for me because it's so annoying and it's just not worth my time. So I'm happy to announce that you can now do that if you really want to. Whether you're on the Marius mission, you're falling behind in your Karnage progress, you just want your mythical supersonic gear, whatever the reason may be, totally valid. So I do have a Discord now. You can join my Discord. Go to the Amius Takeovers section if you want to see all of the information about that. By the way, I do not intend to stop posting the videos. I've already posted multiple videos for every rotation anyway, so if you still want to do it yourself, I completely encourage you to do that. My content is still there to help you beat it on your own, but a lot of people just want the final push, or they're a busy person and they don't have a few hours to spend on this fight, and I sympathize with them. So, okay. Moving on to the Amius hard fight here. Hopefully you guys made it through all of your rooms. I've been hearing a lot of chatter about this one. This is a notorious favorite, so some fun stuff there, but hopefully you somehow arrived here. Let's talk a little bit about this rotation's team. For me, as always, I could use a bunch of really cool OP champs, but I decided not to do that, and I chose all of the free-to-play versions for you guys to show you that it is possible. You don't have to have nonsense. Today's team, I've got Drexthar Bloodtwin. I think you can buy him from Tag. It's been so long that I kind of don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it's Tag. So what does Drexthar Bloodtwin do for us? HP burn, super helpful. It's a nice way to get damage onto this tanky guy. We don't have to worry about his defense, HP, all that. We're just doing straight up HP burn damage. We have a 70 accuracy aura, which is nice because you do need 475 accuracy if you want to land a debuff on Amius Hard. We've also got Ambassador Lethelin. Dude's got some small healing and cleansing. He has the ability that I really like for this fight is he has taunt. So when Amius goes into his second phase and he's going to single out one person and do 85 bajillion damage to them. I'm sorry if you can hear the honking in the background. Everybody's just decided that we should just honk for the next 20 minutes straight, I guess. This has been going on for a while now. So I just gave up on waiting for it to end. So taunt, yeah, I can tell Amius who he needs to target with his big ignore defense ability in the second form. White Dryad Nia. Ally protection, super useful for the second form because we can then split the damage with whoever you're going to target. She's also got healing, strengthen, some other cool stuff. Artak, we're just doubling down on the HP burn. We can also detonate the burn, and also super duper important, we can place decrease attack, which again is really pivotal, not a word, pivotal at the second phase. We want to stop the big AoE ability in second phase from doing a million damage, and we want the ignore defense ability to not kill us. Very hard to survive that ability without decreased attack. And then I've also got Vogoth. He can do ally protect as well. He's got some healing, increased speed. He basically just gives one person a lot of buffs. So I'm going to use that to my advantage during the fight. And then disclaimer, this is just a fun run. I thought it was a bit of a fun one. But as always, I think you should use better champs than me. I think you guys probably have better rosters than me, and I think you better rosters than this, and I think you should use those champs. I'm not saying like this is the best team. This is just a fun team that beat Amius, and I want to share it with you guys today. So Oh, also important note, I've got 2 brimstones here on Drexthar and on Artak. I've said this a lot. I'm not concerned about the level of brimstones or awakenings at all. Really does not matter to me. Level 1 brimstone is as good as 6-star. Does not matter. Doesn't really benefit you in any way. I mean, it doesn't hurt you to have the lower level, and it's not really like extreme benefits to have a high level. So just keep that in mind. As you can see here, like your awakenings don't have to be anything magnificent. So let's move on to my run here. It took me about 3 minutes. And as always, I will walk you guys through the entire fight, talk about the decisions that I made, and hopefully that helps you in your own experiences. But again, if you think your roster is capable and you just need like that little push, again, I am now doing Amius takeovers, and you guys can join my Discord to learn more about that or contact me if you're interested. Alrighty, starting the fight. First form. Couple of things. I have said this 85 billion times if you've watched my other Amius videos. If one of your brimstone appliers doesn't apply brimstone right here and now in this moment, I would just go ahead and restart, because you're missing out on hundreds of thousands of damage that could eventually accumulate in millions of damage if you continue to not get brimstone procs. So basically, Artak's my opener here, and I'm just going to make sure I land it right away, which I did. And again, remember, this was not a high level brimstone, so it doesn't matter. Just wait to land it, and then keep pushing with your fight. All right. So there are a couple, if you did happen to choose Vogoth, there are a couple things. The first one is that you can just A1, whatever, it's fine. The second one is that you could use your ability to give someone increased speed, continuous heal, increased defense, a lot of really good buffs, and ally protect as well. I just didn't find it necessary, I guess, but you can. And then something to keep in mind if you did choose Vergis, when this dude goes into the second form, he will reverse all of your buffs. So if you did happen to use all of these really cool Vergis buffs, just make sure you didn't do that at a timing when they can get reversed. This number here is the number of turns before he's going to go into the secondary form, the Eclipse form. So really important counter. Keep your eyes on that. Who else do we got? Yeah, so there's my Vergis. I'm just going to A1 on Nia. It's fine. She's got some healing. She's got some ally protect, but I don't really particularly want to use that right now. You could, again, like you could beat it not doing exactly what I did, but I'm just saying I did not see a particular reason to use any of that right now. A1 on the Ambassador. My Drexthar is kind of slow, so he's going for the first time after his turn. And then Artak. So we already placed our HP burn. Dude also has decrease attack, but this ability is an enormous heal, and typically he's going to open with that. If you put debuffs that can be reversed on him, he's going to be inclined to use this ability, which reverses all of his debuffs and turns them into the positive buffs. So in my experience doing the fight a million times, if you don't put reversible debuffs on him, he's not really inclined to use this one. So that's why he opened with the heal. And then that's why I'm not going to place decreased attack, because he'll turn it into increased attack. And then he has a bunch of AoE abilities, and it's very hard to survive a bunch of AoE abilities when the boss has increased attack. So basically, when this says 1, or it's just completely red, which would be like the equivalent of 0, that's when I'm going to use Artak's decreased attack. That way, it's not going to get reversed, and I've made the number of turns such that he's got decreased attack when he's doing all of his stuff in the second form. So that's my goal here. Just still A1ing on Vergis. And do you guys remember what Nia's passive is? It is that when she is healed, she heals her allies. for a portion of the heal. So basically, my strategy is that I am healing myself to in turn heal everybody. So that's what I'm doing. Again, you might be using different people, using a different strategy. That's fine. Something else to keep in mind is that her heal, if she uses it on anyone but herself, it will decrease their cooldowns. So keep that in mind, because Amius in both forms does not like when you do that. If you do that in this form, he's going to decrease the number of turns until he goes into Eclipse. And if you do that in the other form, he's going to counterattack you with his A1, which is the scary ability. So just be careful. That's why I tend to heal her and not him. But maybe like sometime, maybe he would be almost dead and you could make like a clutch play and get Artak's HP burn detonation or something back. But in general, I'm not really going to be using that on anyone except Nia herself. And then I just used a little heal, may as well just top everybody off with Ambassador Lethelin. And that was the giant AoE stun. You can see that I'm not using block debuffs. I'm not using resistance. I'm not blocking this in any way. Don't care. Just letting it happen. That's fine. We've got 2 turns left now until we go into Eclipse. So again, like I said, saving the decreased attack. And your A1 can extend burns as well. So that's pretty nice. We reapplied Brimstone. That's why it's super helpful to have 2 carriers. So this is an amazing time to get a Brimstone proc, because he's going to go into his second form. And he's immediately going to use 2 back-to-back abilities. So we're going to get the double Brimstone proc yet again. Just A1ing on Nia. And like I said, now I'm using the Dogs of War. I'm applying the decreased attack as we go into that second form. Keep A1ing on the Ambassador. Here's the form switch into the second form. So here's what happens. First thing that happens is giant AoE sleep. This is not resistible. This goes through block debuffs. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. If you have champions with like Chainbreaker, or sometimes I use Doom Priest, you might break the sleep on your own, but typically you just gotta deal with this. And then this ability, giant AoE hit, and that first ability that we saw, the sleep, that also would have reversed all your buffs had we had any. You can't reverse reflect damage, you can't reverse a shield, so therefore those are fine to have. And okay, everybody's like decently healthy, not too bad. You know, just keep A1ing. And now I'm going to start doing some stuff. So I am going to apply Vergis's ability, the Ally Protect, increase speed, continuous heals, and reflect damage to Nia. And then keep in mind, remember her passive. So by placing the continuous heal on her, technically I have done a little bit of healing to everybody. So that's my plan. And then Nia, she's also applying Ally Protect. She's applying Strengthen, so when he hits us here, it's going to decrease the amount of damage that we're doing. And then my completely silly little combo strategy thing that I'm doing here is I'm going to use the taunt on Ambassador Lethelin to taunt the target that I want. And I'm going to taunt Nia. So I did this a couple times, and obviously you can taunt whoever the heck you want. Like that's that's fine. It's going to depend on a lot of things. You know, what are your champs built like? What are their passives and abilities? What level awakenings do you have on people? What's going on here? So I ran this several times, just trying stuff. And for me, I got the best results when I taunted Nia. But again, that might not be your target. And then keep in mind, I also have Vergis ally protecting Nia. So they're kind of like ally protecting each other. I don't even know if that's how it works technically, but that's my stupid little strategy here, basically. So you can see they've both survived the hit. They did take quite a bit of damage, but we did survive nonetheless. And actually, he didn't have decrease attack here, so I actually survived a non-decrease attack hit. So to not die is is pretty spectacular, and it shows you how powerful kind of combining those is. He had HP burn, but I chose to use the double hit again because I really wanted to try and apply Brimstone. And then, like I said, if Nia can heal herself, she can heal everybody. So that's what I'm opting to do. And then remember, if you use that on anybody else and you decrease their cooldown, he's going to counterattack you and you're going to die. So don't do that. Don't do that. And then I'm just kind of back to my little pattern. A1 here. A1. 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 Okay, and remember also, you can never forget about one or the other form. So like if I had chosen to apply decreased attack there with Artak, which I'm sure is tempting to do, he's probably going to come into this form and reverse it. So we don't want to do that. We've opted to open with the heal instead. And I knew this would happen actually, just because there's so much ally protection going on. I figured that one of these two would die because they're tanking a massive, they're ally protecting all of the others basically. Okay, and here is where I've definitely just played this fight way too many times at this point, is that I see this happen and I look at my damage here and I look at my team and I'm pretty sure this is still a win. So this is how you guys know I've just gone full psycho at this point. Like, I just look at this game state and I'm like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. So this is fine, IMO. So I'm just gonna keep going here. A1 on Nia, A1 on Drexthar. Let's get the heal with Ambassador. And then remember, he still hasn't reversed this stuff yet, so I don't want to put any crazy debuffs on him. HP burn is fine, Brimstone is fine. Most other things, not fine. So we'll just do that. Here's the stun. We can't do anything about that. This is his A1, this AoE thing. So that's that. Just keep A1ing on Nia. And then now, remember, one turn left, so I want to apply decreased attack here. So I do that. A1, A1, get another Brimstone proc. That's amazing. Because once again, we're using two back-to-back abilities here. We're going to get double Brimstone proc, and it's going to bring him really, really low. There's the sleep. Can't do anything about that. It looks like I cut in here somehow. I don't really know. Just depending on your speeds and everything. Nia, you could heal yourself, but you're probably you should do the ally protect because you want to split the damage with somebody. And then I can tell here, I'm gonna lose somebody else here. But again, guys, I've just lost it at this point, and I can see that this is a win, and I don't care. So we'll just keep progressing here, and I can taunt. I can choose who's gonna die. So I choose Ambassador chooses himself. So we'll just get rid of him because, like, I'm good. Vergis, our need for Vergis is done. We don't really need this guy anymore. We don't really need this guy. It's all fine. So we do, in fact, kill him. And remember, Amius does, in fact, kill him. And remember, if Amius kills you with his A1, he just starts doing his entire kit again. So that's cool. So he's doing that. But again, this is a win. I don't even care. This is 100% a win. So I do, I put decreased attack on here because I know he's going to use his kit again. So I want to like stop that from happening. And then the other reason I do that is because if we're going to go into the other ability, I think this will entice him to use the stun instead of his heal, which would then result in him dying, right? Because of the Brimstone proc. So that's everything that's going through my mind at this point. And also, funny thing, remember we were talking about the debuff reversal. It looks like Drexthar now has 8 turns of baby weaken on him. So that's pretty extent. Or is it 2? Oh, it's 2. Oh my gosh, I thought that said 8. So it looks like despite my best efforts, he did open with the heal. So we did get a bit of a heal there. But again, guys, this is a win. I foresaw this win minutes ago. I don't care. So, okay, there's the stun. There's the Brimstone again. Just procking everything, Get some hits here. proc that, and then he dies. Okay, so again, like I said, it's not beautiful, but it's possible. And once you're to the point where you understand the fight well, you can kind of look at the game state and understand when this is a win or not. I am very sad to report that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of my 9 pieces of mythical gear are in fact 5-star. We only got the singular 6-star Merciless shield. Sad times. All right, so let's take a look at this. What does this tell us? Remnant pull as well, of course. I'm sure that'll be mythical. So what does this tell us? All of our damage is HP burn and brimstone. But you can get several 100,000 damage out of War Master. I always tell people that War Master is important because you basically have 260,000 plus another like 80,000 in what is essentially War Master damage. So Masteries, super helpful in my opinion. We had very minor healing. You know, we had a little bit of healing, but then I just allowed those people to die because they had served their purpose. So, yeah. Okay. So as always, I'm going to show you guys the champion builds just so you can see where you're at with your stats on all of your champions. Let's take a look. Artak, nothing insane here. It's just a perception build. I use him in like hard spider, hard ice golem, etc. Like we said, you need like 475 to land a debuff on hard Amius, but I did have Drexthar in the lead, so we're okay, right? No big deal. And these are the types of champions we're looking for in Amius, right? Like he's an HP-based champ. He has over 100,000 HP. He's not gonna die. He was like basically the last man standing with Drexthar. So there you go. Speaking of Drexthar, here's the build. I built this guy years ago and I never changed it, and I've used him in Amius like 10 times, so I just don't care anymore. This is the build, guys. This is it. Like obviously he's traditionally built as a defense nuker, but defense doesn't help you in this fight because he's just gonna ignore it. I mean, it can, but HP, you're definitely getting the bigger bang for your buck. And our damage is coming from HP burn as opposed to, you know, like nuking kind of damage. So that is my incredible Drexthar Bloodtwin build. Moving down to the epics. There's Vergis. I do have him in a regeneration build just because I used him to solo Bamo like a million years ago. And I still think that's a good build on him. He's ally protecting, so he needs like the healing can help him out. But, you know, you guys build whatever you want, whatever you think is best. Oh, sorry, Masteries. So Masteries, like I said, having War Master is like incredibly helpful. Gets you a lot of damage, and of course, all of the other things you get. Those are the Artak Masteries. Again, War Master is super helpful. Drexthar Masteries. I have Giant Slayer because like someone in the raid community did the math years ago and they just decided that if you have like 3 or more hits on your A1, you should use Giant Slayer instead. And it ends up being more damage in the end. So I'll trust them on that one. We'll just go with it. But I'm sure if you have War Master, it's not like the entire world is going to end. Where is Nia, you guys? Help me. Oh, I guess she's not empowered. Okay, that's fine. So I have her in Provoke because I've always used her in Hydra, and this is helpful in hard faction wars and other places in the game. So, but yeah, you don't have to have her in Provoke. That's not doing anything for you here. You don't need accuracy. You can't land decreased speed on Amius, which is the only debuff she places. Those are the Masteries. And then, yeah, it's a tank. It's a really good champion. I've used her in a ton of Amius rotations. She's great. And last one is going to be Ambassador Lethelin, huh? Okay. I have him in an immunity build because when I'm gearing people, I just kind of look in my inventory, and if I have, like, if I can make a good set in something like that, I'm just like, sure, cool. May as well get this set onto somebody and get some use out of it. So again, immunity, there's there's no reason why you would have to have that. It gives you like block debuffs at the beginning, and then it wouldn't matter for the rest of the entire fight. So again, don't need accuracy on this guy. The only thing you're maybe placing is decreased crit rate. And honestly, it might be best if you don't place that, because odds are it's just going to get reversed into increased crit rate, and then you're going to get destroyed. So just keep that keep that in mind. And then again, use mastered champions in Amius. It's so helpful. So helpful. Okay. But let's just do a double checkaroo. Showed you him, her, him. Cool. All right, so there are the builds on everybody, you guys. And there was my silly little Amius run of the rotation. Hope you guys are all progressing well on that. And again, if you're just not feeling that Amius vibe this rotation, but you think you have the potential to beat it, I am doing Amius clears now, and I'll put the link to my Discord in the comments and the description and all of that good stuff. As always, you guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video, supporting the channel, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you. Goodbye.